For more on this, I'm joined now by Infometrics Principal Economist Brad Alston. Hi there, Brad. Thanks so much for coming on with us. 7.2% is high, but it was actually a wee bit lower than some expected, wasn't it?
That's true. The Reserve Bank, when they published their last set of forecasts in November 2022, was expecting that inflation could hit 7.5% in the December 2022 quarter. So it came in below that. But importantly, it still came in above market expectations. Most commentators were picking a 7.1% annual inflation rate, with, again, just a touch of a slowdown coming forward, which was expected, I guess, to help highlight that we are starting to curb the battle with inflation. The figures coming out at that plateauing 7.2% annual rate, certainly better news than prices continuing to rise further at an accelerating pace. But the fact that it's only just plateaued and it hasn't started to go down does highlight that there's still a lot of inflationary pressure in the system.
Because even if it does stay steady at this rate, it's still really tough for lots of people out there, isn't it? Is there any relief in sight?
It's challenging to see a lot of relief at the moment. We know that food prices have increased at a 32-year high rate in the last month or so. When we look through the figures, we see that rents are still high. There's been some moderation, thankfully, in fuel prices, but they're still above where they were a year ago, even with the government's discount in place. And of course, that comes off soon. And again, across the board, we're just seeing further and further cost and price increases. Stats NZ reporting with today's figures that 72% of all of the items that they track in the Consumer's Price Index had increased in price in December 2022. That's the second largest proportion in just over a decade.
Just very quickly here, Chris Hipkins is talking about tackling the inflation pandemic. What can he possibly do about all of this?
We know that inflation's hurting, and we know that it's going to be difficult to get it back under control. But the incoming Prime Minister has highlighted that he wants to do more to curb just how much the government is currently doing to get and reprioritise the government activities and to be a lot more forthright on focusing very clearly on this issue. So I think you're going to see a lot of projects cut or scaled back by the government and a much clearer focus on trying to achieve a few small wins and making sure that they're not biting off too much that they just can't chew.
Right, watch this space. Brad, thanks very much for that.